And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Anytime you're talking about fundamentals in a market and direction, fundamentals take a little bit of time to play out.
We got crude oil today, kind of trading yesterday's value area really nicely, low to high.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Hello, friends and traders. Welcome to the market recap for Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022. I'm your host again today, JD, filling in for our friend and mentor, John Hoagland, who is out on vacation this week. I hope everyone had a good day today. Feel free to share your questions or comments in the chat area, and I'll try to get to everything by the time we wrap up. Again, thanks for trusting us with your time. We are here to help as always. With that, let's take a look at what's happened today. Stocks and bond yields both jumped higher. As far as the economic calendar, we had Redbook out at 7:55 a.m. Central Time. It looked like store sales and chains. Store sales of chains, discounters, department stores was down about 0.2% year over year. The Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index was out at 9 o'clock. Here's a quote from Econoday. The Richmond Manufacturing Index flattened noticeably and unexpectedly in February to only +1 versus 8 in January, for one of its worst showings since the beginning of the pandemic. March's expectations are dead flat at 0. For tomorrow, the calendar is looking like MBA mortgage applications at 6 a.m. Central Time. Jerome Powell is speaking again, early, 7 o'clock Central Time. We'll keep an eye on that. New home sales at 9 o'clock, EAI Petroleum Status Report at 9 a.m., and Mary Daly is speaking at 10:45 a.m. Central Time. So a lot on the docket, well, more than today at least. A lot on the docket, but I feel like a lot of eyes will be on Jerome Powell again tomorrow. Just scrolling through my Twitter feed right now, I came up with some interesting headlines. Here's a couple from Bloomberg. Farmers are paying record amounts for used seed sprayers and tractors with wheat prices soaring, says Greg Peterson, a farm equipment guru known as Machinery Pete. Another one from Bloomberg. Russian refiners are trimming their output, exacerbating a shortfall in European diesel supply, says Governor CEO Torbjörn Turnquist. Third one from Bloomberg. Germany called for the immediate release of Alexei Navalny after the jailed opposition leader was sentenced to 9 years in a high-security prison. One from MarketWatch. The housing market is in the early stages of a substantial downshift. Home sales may drop 25% by the end of summer, according to some analysts. In the Financial Times, central banks unlikely to offer immediate support to energy markets. Here's a quote from that article. Central banks have intensified discussions with energy trading firms, calling for help to ease market strains sparked by the war in Ukraine, but are unlikely to unlock immediate extra support, according to people with knowledge of their talks. On the Russia-Ukraine war front, it was reported earlier today that 3.56 million people have left Ukraine, with Poland taking on the most refugees at 2.1 million, followed by Romania at right around 500,000, and Moldova at about 360,000. I'm sorry, I said Romania should have been 540,000, Moldova 367,000. Russian troops in the Sea of Azov continue to shell the city of Mariupol. This has been going on for about 24 hours now. And the U.S. and European allies are expected to announce new sanctions against Russia when President Biden meets with other NATO and G7 leaders in Brussels Thursday. So some interesting stuff going on. Not a whole lot of news came out today. At least not what I saw in the last hour just scrolling through. But I'll stop for a second and say hello to everyone. Tachyon, Bill Phillips, Spencer, Nicholas, Laura, welcome all. Thanks for joining me. Small room today, but what do you say we dive into a couple charts and see what's happening? Let me just cue these up here. Here we go. So first, let's take a look at the S&P. So the ES found some strength right on the open and never really looked back. Looking at this daily chart, I outlined this trade I've been looking at for a couple days now. You can see this double bottom was formed here. That right arm back last Wednesday, or last Tuesday, sorry, and just marching forward, 4 consecutive higher closes in a row. So you could see the close above the neckline here last Wednesday. The measure moved from the neckline to the profit target. It was roughly 190 points, putting the target about 45.17 up here. And it looks as though we're on the cusp of another bull run. I think that target will probably hit early after hours tonight. Let's jump over to 4 hour really quick. I mentioned this morning how buyers keep stepping in at this 10-day moving average, and it appears to be holding as a strong support line in the last few trading sessions. It's continuing today. Today the VWAP was one of your buyers are stepping in right just below the VWAP today, which is turning into another line in the sand here. Let's take a look at the 30-minute. I didn't update the profile here, but you could see early strength never really subsided. We broke out above yesterday's high right on the open and traded above all these short-term moving averages pretty much all day. Now it's settled into a short period of consolidation with volume sort of easing off here, but overall there's quite a few signs of strength in this market. I wouldn't want to be jumping in front of this bus right now. With that, let's move over to crude oil. 1 second. Here we go. So our daily in crude oil, trading relatively flat today. Another jump in volume. Does it look like there's a little stability coming back to this market? Just based on volume, maybe. Momentum still pointing higher. We noticed this morning price was kind of bouncing around between this 10-period moving average and the VWAP, and that's what it continued to do all day today. Just a short little burst up, decent volume on the upswing, and just kind of creeping in between these two lines today, the VWAP and the 10-period moving average. On the 30-minute, just it looks like textbook consolidation, doesn't it? Lower highs, lower lows, and trading on sort of both sides of these short-term moving averages. Bounced off yesterday's high a couple of times and really just kind of settling into a grind here. Overall, I would say momentum still pointing higher, like I said, but today's down move on higher volume could be signaling some kind of short-term top, maybe a move back down to the 20-day moving average, possibly even a weekly kickoff low. I'm looking forward to see what happens in this market overnight. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Again, today, same scenario as the ES. Strength on the open, never looked back. Kissed the 50-day moving average during the overnight session, low of the session, then closed above it for the 3rd consecutive day. On the 4 hour, at 10-period moving average, still has buyer. It's been a buyer's dream for the last 4 trading sessions. Bids seem to come pouring in every time price gets near this green line here. But is it sustainable? Is it going too far, too fast? Let's see if we can get a closer look with the 30-minute. After testing yesterday's high overnight and falling back, this market just screamed higher right off the bell. traded above all those short-term moving averages again for the entire session, just like the ES. It eventually fell off into this little period of consolidation here, and it's closing above weekly kickoff high. This market is looking awfully bullish right now. Next stop will be to take out the February high. Let's move back over to the daily real quick. This February high here right at 15,250. I think that would be the next target for this market. That said, let's take a look at gold. So look at this. We talked about a test of yesterday's low this morning during the forecast, and sure enough, that's what we did before bouncing back into consolidation again. I considered today's session to be a continuation of consolidation, at least until they take out last Wednesday's low. We're on a 30-minute here. Let me switch over to a daily. Until we take out this low from last Wednesday. Let's see the 4-hour here real quick. So even though this shows lower high and higher low, or lower high and a lower low, it still looks more sideways than anything to me. Maybe we'll get some more out of this 30-minute. Yeah, it's looking like a double distribution day on the profile. Price is trading on the opposite end of the value area, closing on the opposite end of the point of control, I should say. To keep this market range bound, I would look for buyers to step in overnight around today's point of control. But this decreasing volume on the way up is telling me that there could still be some more weakness in this market. So maybe a test of weekly kickoff low is coming, but I would really be surprised if it closed the week outside of the weekly kickoff range. We'll be keeping a close eye on that also. And lastly, let's have a quick look at the 10-year. All right, more follow through on weakness today. Momentum still pointing lower. Volume is healthy. What is there to hold this market up right now? What do you think? These ranges, you can see on this 4-hour chart, these ranges are getting smaller and smaller, but they're consistently making new lows on decent volume. The VWAP seems to be the spot for sellers to step in and sort of do their bidding right now. On this 30-minute, you can see here there was a test of these short-term moving averages during the overnight session, then nothing but weakness during regular trading hours. Sellers stepped in at pretty much every opportunity. Already now there's been a new low made in after-hours trading. Overall, I get that this... I'm going to switch back to the 4-hour real quick. I get that this 4-hour chart might be thinking about picking bottoms. I know I sure am, but try to practice a little patience and see what happens. I hate to get caught on the wrong side of this one. This market is weak, and I don't see what's holding it up right now. With that, I guess we can cut it over to some questions. How's everybody doing today? Let's see, Spencer. Easy long and ES this morning, and then nothing but chop the rest of the day. Yep. There was that move. You get that move in the first hour or so, hour and a half of trading, and then just sideways for the rest of the day. That can ruin you if you're holding on for a big one. Possibly cause some choppiness. Took crude oil trade this morning and called it a day. Good one, Charles. What a horrible, horrible trading day for me, says Dan. Amazing. Impressed myself with that performance. Didn't think I could do worse than Friday. I go on 8-day green streaks, blowout. 5-day green, blowout. I wonder if I can get JP Morgan to bail me out of an NQ short like that guy in the LME nickel. Wouldn't that be a blessing? I know how that feels. You're eking out a great streak, making a couple $100 a day for, a week, 10 days, just to see it all evaporate. on a couple of bad trades. Sometimes sitting on your hands is really just the hardest thing to do. But when you get those couple losers in a row, you just got to get up and walk away, take a break, and live to fight another day. That's the point of the game, right? Sustainability. What else we got? Oh, learn how to take a loss. Sounds like you're digging a deeper hole, trying to claw back the break. That is what Hogue says, Spencer. Thanks for jumping in there. Anything that's happened to you has probably happened to Hogue also, and I know he's got a story about it. Too aggressive, too fast, impulse control. Struggling with impulse control too. You know, if accountability, when you're sitting at home by yourself doing this, it's really hard to hold yourself accountable when you've got your hand on the trigger and you're seeing things move and you're afraid to miss out on a trade. You really just gotta stop and think. You know, what am I doing? Am I doing this? Am I panicking? Am I revenge trading? Am I just trying to make a couple bucks so it doesn't, so this loss doesn't look so bad? Whatever it is, when you start thinking, then you start thinking about why you're putting on bad trades, bad trade after bad trade after bad trade. Just try and force yourself to turn around. You don't even have to get out of your chair. Just turn around and don't look at the screens for a second, and everything will just kind of, everything will come together. If you're not staring at the screen, you'll start thinking about what you're doing a little more, and then you can come back after a little bit and start making more smart trades. Alright, well, with that, let's take a look at this day in history. Any more questions coming in? Alright, on this Act was passed. On this day in 1765, the British Parliament passed the Stamp Act, which placed taxes on various printed papers in the colonies. Highly unpopular, the legislation was particularly contentious in America. This is from the Encyclopedia Britannica, This Day in History, March 22nd. It was March 22nd, 1765. On this day, March 22nd, 2019, Special Counsel Robert Mueller delivered his report on Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. What else do we got? English composer Andrew Lloyd Webber was born on this day in 1948. Sorry, I'm just responding to something real quick. Okay, sorry about that. I had a couple messages coming in from outside of here. Just say no to FOMO. Take a walk. Taking a short walk works the best. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. That's all great advice. So let's all take our deep breath now. Enjoy the rest of our evenings. I hope everyone has a great day tomorrow. I will see you first thing, bright and early. Remember, Jerome Powell's talking at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm sorry, 7 o'clock Central Time. So be aware of that before you start trading early morning on the market forecast. Thanks again for joining me. I hope you found this a little helpful, insightful. All tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.